Now, a number of different types of e-commerce sites, and we're going to talk about these different types of e-commerce sites because, a big part of this process, or perhaps the biggest part of what we're going to be doing next week in particular, is evaluating our needs. That is, what are the needs of our store, and comparing those to the capabilities of the plugins. And so you need to understand the different possibilities in e-commerce stores in order for you to really be able to do that. And so first off, we're going to talk about e-commerce sites based on what they sell, because you can classify e-commerce sites that way. Some e-commerce sites only sell digital downloads. Some only sell physical products. Some sell intangible products, and intangible products include things like memberships and subscriptions, or deposits and reservations for maybe events, or for booking rooms, or that sort of thing. Some of them sell tickets or vouchers that can be redeemed places. Some of them may sell serial numbers or license keys for software. So you might have plugins that you might sell that require a license key in order for them to be able to start up or to work. And so you need to be able to sell individual license keys that goes along with that. Some may just take donations, but those are all different types of intangible products. And this really kind of informs the type of site. E-commerce sites can also be classified by their size and their organization. And I suppose size and organization are two sides of the same coin. And by size I really mean the number of products that it sells and how it displays those products. So for example, you can have simple sites with very few products and really no product catalog. And I suppose you can think of that maybe as a site that has maybe 1 to 10 products. It's not going to use product categories. You're not going to browse products by going to a catalog page. You're not going to sort products or search for products, because there's just a handful of products. You can see each product listed on a page someplace, and so you don't really need a system for sort of organizing the display of the products. And typically you're not even going to use the plugin to display the product. You may just use the plugin only to process the transaction. So my site's a good example of that, right? Now I think I'm going to have to go to it here in a non-logged in state, if you bear with me. Sort of in a non-logged in state, if you click join us, right? Here's how you can buy in, right? You just click one of these join us buttons. Well, this page is not managed by WP eStore, which is the shopping cart that I use for this. This page is, just a page, and WP eStore is only used to process the transaction. So you really only end up with a transaction when you hit the join us button and you go to spend some money. Otherwise, there's no product catalog, and there's no, the WP eStore is not displaying anything, right? Just WP eStore is responding to the link in this join us button, and that's it. So that is a potential simple site with few products and no product catalog. The next type of site, of course, is just a larger site. So a larger site may have many products and probably does integrate a product catalog. And so you might think of this as a site with 11 to 100 products or so. I mean, this is sort of a rough rule of thumb, where the site will use product categories and or product tags to organize them. So your page may have a listing of product categories, and if you click on that list, you get to all the products in that category, that kind of thing. And it probably uses product categories and tags. It also creates catalog pages based on those categories. So if you click on a category of, I don't know, books, it'll bring up a catalog page showing all the books in that category, that kind of thing. And it may include some kind of sorting of products. So you might be able to sort your products by, the products that display on a page, you might sort them by price. You might sort them by how recent the product is. You might sort them by product review. You might sort them by popularity, right? There may be just essentially different filters for sorting your view of the product catalog. And it may even include product level searches, so searching for specific products, based on certain criteria. That is sort of a larger site that integrates a product catalog. And then you have, finally, sort of the complex sites. And a complex site usually is going to have more than 100 products, and it has a multifaceted product catalog. So it uses categories, but it probably has subcategories as well. So you might have a category of books, and then you'd have a subcategory of ebooks, and a subcategory of, I don't know, Kindle books, or a subcategory of print books, or if you're using the book example, you might have a category of fiction, a category of nonfiction, a category of, special interest, something like that. But each of those ends up having subcategories below them, and then those subcategories are really where you display the products. What this is essentially is a department page, right? So you would, similar to like a big clothing store where you have men's department, a women's department, children's department, and then men's casual wear. And that would also be a department page, but then when you click on that, then you'll have, casual tops and slacks and blah, 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 right? And so you don't get down to the products on a catalog page until you've worked your way through department pages. And that's typically how categories and subcategories get used in these larger projects or larger stores. Same thing is true, with the possibility of creating custom taxonomies. Maybe you want to show all the products of a manufacturer or something like that. And so you have your own custom taxonomies that you're using for organizing products as well. Typically will involve some kind of sorting of catalog pages similar to the sites before, but it also may include the ability to drill down by attribute. So you may want to look at, I don't know, all computer monitors that are 20 inches wide. And so have a category called computer monitors, but you've got an attribute of size, and so you can filter the results by showing only a specific size of, or a specific attribute of a product. That's an attribute of a large and a multifaceted complex site. And we're going to talk about doing that as well. And the whole reason for sort of understanding that each of these different styles of sites exist is because what you need to do is to match the plugin's capabilities with the store's needs. So you need to match the plugin's ability to sell a certain type of product and the tools that it gives for displaying those products. And that's going to end up being, probably the major part of the criteria that you're going to use for choosing this. Now, this may come as a surprise to you that, there's not a one-size-fits-all solution. But that is absolutely the case. There is no one-size-fits-all solution for e-commerce. WooCommerce is not going to be the best application for all stores. WP eStore is not going to be the best for all stores. I talk about all these different solutions because some solutions are better at one thing than another. And if you are a web developer or a web designer and you have clients that you work with, you're not going to be able to take care of them properly and only have one store that you offer them, because this is not a one-size-fits-all business. And if you try to do something that should be done with WooCommerce using WP eStore, you're doing your client a disservice. So it will be critical, important, necessary for you to be able to evaluate the specific store's needs and compare that to the specific plugin's capabilities to make a decision about which plugin you're going to use in which condition.